the only thing that will make it work is people. So if people want to get involved and help us build a slightly less tech bro future, then you know where to find us.
Join Matrix. Welcome to Kodsnack, James.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I guess I caught some of your messages on Mastodon, and that's how we got into this. But maybe we should start with something brief about who are you? What do you do?
I am. My name's James Smith. I'm a software developer in the UK. I've been working on software generally for 30 years, something like that, across various things, working on sort of web development applications, things like that, for becoming up 20, and have worked as technical architects, various things like that, various different levels, from code up to high level design stuff. Largely, luckily for me, in the kind of tech for good type sector. So I've worked on things like climate projects. I've worked on public sector software, all sorts of things like that. Open data was a big part of it a few years ago. So I'm a huge fan of open source, open standards, being able to use all of our collective intelligence together to make better things. These days, I'm lucky enough to be working on my own open source project full time, which is great, thanks to some funding from a European project called Next Generation Internet, NGO Zero, which is very, very cool. It supports loads of open source projects, loads of stuff that everyone will know. It supports the developers to work on those, which is great. So I'm lucky enough to be getting some support from them at the moment, which is amazing.
Pretty cool, yeah. And the reason or the excuse, I guess, for having this little recording is that you're also involved in what is it properly called? Simply a fork of Ruby on Rails.
Yeah. I've made some dubious lifestyle decisions.
Would say you're not the only one in that storyline to make some dubious decisions.
Yeah. At the moment, yeah. So the context of us talking is because of a project that's getting off the ground currently codenamed Amiko.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a temporary name. We still haven't got a permanent one yet. Working on it, which is a fork of Ruby on Rails. That is the idea. It's grown out of various bits of history. A number of people see a need for a fork of Rails. There was a attempt last year to get the Rails core team to make some changes. That was like throwing, things into a black hole. Nothing happened. So a bit of renewed energy on that in the last few weeks, and actually we now have a small team coming together to actually do it.
Wow.
Which is interesting and daunting and all the things that people will say about it being really hard and a bad idea and probably won't work. All that's true. Absolutely. Yeah. I totally get it. And I'd much rather be doing other things, because this I am not getting paid to do. So, fun times.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like it started really quick. I will put in links in the show notes for people so they can read up on all the background, why this is needed. I think many people probably have like a vague idea, but yeah, we'll put in background material.
A surprising number of people have managed to not know why, and seem to be very good at really trying really hard to not know why as well.
It's like activating
there's
curiosity.
a big part of that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to summarize very briefly, because I don't want it to be, it's not about, this is the stimulus for the thing, but it's not just about that. We want it to be its own thing.
Yeah.
The figurehead of Ruby on Rails, the creator of it in the first place, David Homemeyer Hansen, has built something really, really cool. Right, I've been a Rails developer since 1.1, and it's still the tool that I will pick up when I want to build something. including my current project. So I'm still actively using Rails every day. It's stable and it's boring and all the good things that technology should be when you actually want to do stuff, right? So that's a good thing. And it was always about being a very opinionated framework and things like that. And I'm a huge fan of decisions that don't make the most important thing about a decision is normally that it's made, not necessarily what the answer is.
That's a great point. Yes, absolutely.
Because that lets you get on. So I'm fine. I've done all the wars over style and over design and things like that. I've done all of that. And being able to say, okay, right, here's a system. I can work in that. That seems reasonable. And now I can just get on. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
And Rails as well, it revolutionized, I think, so many things. The whole platform as a service thing came out of the Rails world. The whole some packaging, the modern packaging ecosystem came out of that.
Gems and stuff.
Yeah, with every other language has been catching up. The deployments, all the sort of all that good stuff around continuous integration, all of that was really, really taken to heart in the Rails world, and Ruby world more generally, but it was, it did an incredible amount of good, and the documentation is amazing. The Rails guides, the videos from back in the day of like, here, build a blog in 5 minutes. You're like, flown, right? That's great.
Yeah.
And I will never take away from the guy for absolutely building technically an amazing achievement. Absolutely brilliant. That doesn't give you a free pass, unfortunately. And we're seeing that in many, many, many technical communities these days, where you have a commonly referred to benevolent dictator for life, being not really quite so benevolent. Mm-hmm. But you see this in startups and things as well, right? The people who start the thing are very rarely the right people to steward it in the long term. But some people hold on to these things for a very long time. Anyway, there's of late. So DHH has always had some. He's always been, slightly abrasive. He's very opinionated, right? And in the technical terms, that's great. That's worked well. He's also very opinionated on many other issues, and that has gone over less well with people, and is becoming particularly pointed now. In that, as we see with the rest of the world, a hell of a lot of people vanishing down the Twitter rabbit hole of, pivoting to the far right, which is fucking tragic to see. And
I agree,
especially for someone who, in previous years expressed very different opinions. Has pivoted, and to the point where, all you need to do is go read his blog. If you read his blog, you will find, I think, the most recent one that I've looked at in detail was where he was comparing homeless gypsies in Copenhagen to wolves disrupting farming. But what you do with wolves is you put them down. And you're like, what the hell? There's a lot of dehumanizing going on with all stuff like that. So a lot of people are using Rails, are really uncomfortable with that kind of stuff. He's all about like, keep the politics out of work, keep it out of Basecamp. At which point a third of Basecamp left because turns out we're humans. But he's happily spreading all these things, and it's you can't. Some people can separate those things, right? Some people can say, right, this person has horrible, abhorrent opinions, but technically, it's fine. This is good stuff. I'm working on this technically. I can ignore that. Great. Fine. If that's you, you do you. I'm not taking anything away. You're fine. You've got an easy ride. I can't do that. I can't.
There's a limit.
There's a limit, right? And I can't look at. Somebody in our chat said it really nicely. Is I just want to build a web app without feeling spiritually gross afterwards.
Exactly. It's not a high requirement.
No, right? I mean, I don't want to be, get a face with a sense of depression every time I start my server. Right.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
so, and that's not just me, there's a lot of it. And I know that a lot of people have left various things over the years because of stuff like this.
Yeah,
This
sure.
is not out of the blue by any means. So there was a call out last year to the Rails core team to just sort of say, look, this has gone far enough.
Hmm.
Can we just, we should sort of be reforming the way that this works and things like that. But Rails core is so, I think, incredibly captured by its history, by him, by Shopify, and so on that went nowhere.
Yeah.
I was also the one who kicked off that an open letter last year to the Rails core team asking for that, which we got a couple of 150 signatures or so to, which was not a lot, and he was very happy that just a bunch of weird woke liberals had somebody made a list. Somebody took the open letter, which was just a markdown file, right, on GitHub. They took that and they vibe coded up a Next.js Tailwind CSS something app of like tech woke people to not employ based on the list. And I found that hilarious because, first of all,
yeah,
great. They got a number of PRs of people saying, please put me on your list. Because
exactly.
And secondly, god damn man, you could have done this with Jekyll and CSS and done it statically. I mean, what a terrible technical solution.
You don't even respect the tech stack.
Right? It was even a crap solution to the...
Oh, yeah.
I'd be embarrassed. Yeah. So, anyway, it was... But I didn't, colour me unsurprised, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, that pissed a lot of people off. And, I got a lot of blowback from that, which was interesting. And that was fun. Obviously, I am as you can tell, middle-aged, middle-class white man. And so I had the privilege to be able to just sort of ignore a lot of that, which was nice. I think that would absolutely ruin many people. I'm sure, and quite rightly so. One of the best bits was that a lot of that blowback was on Twitter, and I left there years ago. So whatever. Say what you like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you're saying, and I don't care.
Yeah. Good choice.
Yeah, but so it sort of came out of that, and he's not sort of reduced his output of those kinds of opinions anymore. And honestly, all people need to do is go and read his blog. Yeah. If his own words don't convince you, fine. This is not a project for you. That's okay. I'm not taking anything away from anyone. Go do your thing. That's great. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
But a bunch of us were finally annoyed enough again to be like, what, just do that. Yeah. Again, I'd sort of put out posts on Mastodon of like, come on, this needs to be done. This is enough. We need to do this. Yeah. And then being me and famously bad at self-control and making good decisions, I put out a post to a Matrix space and said, let's, if anybody agrees, come over here and we'll see what we can do, because they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So, rather than just saying, oh, please somebody fix my problem for me, they're not going to, then we do it. Like everybody said.
Yeah.
9 months ago when we posted that thing, oh, why don't you just fork it? All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
But turns out you don't just do that overnight, because that would be stupid. That would just be me with a fork doing, that would get nowhere. The most important thing is to build actually what Rails needs, what any software project needs, is a stable community that anyone can get involved in, that respects people and their input, no matter who they are, and doesn't carve off people into outgroups. So this is a fork that's based on the governance of Rails. So the governance has to be the most important thing about the fork.
Yeah.
But, it immediately feels good and freeing and like at least a positive attempt. I have no idea if it'll work.
No,
not
no,
before.
that's for
And
later.
that's okay.
This has just happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, many people have said, "Oh, that'll never work." I'm like, it's never stopped me doing something stupid before.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me show you all my other failed projects. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just reading a book about the creation of ARPANET.
Right.
And the phone companies were like, no, packet switching, that can never work.
There's always millions of reasons why things won't work.
Yeah, of course.
And
Until somebody has done them.
You build your way towards those things and you solve each one as it goes. It's something.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it called again? It's something like agile.
Exactly.
Something. I can't remember.
No.
Slipped my mind.
Yeah, exactly. It's very strange.
In fact, I'm fairly sure I remember somebody writing about that many years ago. I don't know.
No.
Anyway.
Can't have been. But the impression I got from Mastodon was that you got a bit more like positive responses quicker than you had expected. It felt like I went to bed one evening and you had posted something like, we should try to get this going. And then next morning was like, yeah, looks like we're doing this.
Yeah. I mean, people have jumped on board. Currently we're about 150 people in the Matrix space. A lot of whom are just observers and workers, and that's fine. And
of course.
We'll put in opinions where necessary and things like that. We do now have active members across all sorts of areas of the project. We've had a bunch of successful technical experiments happen. So we sort of started out that kind of initial flush of things was like, well, I think we've got we've got a few people together in Matrix, and none of whom I know. This is all just people who collected together based on that same desire.
That's the best.
And we tried some things, and it seemed to work. And I was like, well, I think this is possible. I think we can actually do this.
Yeah.
Different people had got different bits of the solution, and we're like, if you stick that in there, and then.
So what were the sort of biggest question marks to begin with?
So obviously the most important thing about the fork is the governance side of things.
Yeah.
But whether or not you can physically do the fork technically is like, there's no point in having great governance if actually you can't do anything with it.
No, sure.
So the sort of early technical experiments were kind of what I think made me think, no, this is possible. And so actually all that stands in our way is organization and people. And that's always the hardest bit, but it's okay. If we've got a bunch of motivated people, we can do that. Technically, there's no blocker. So it was working out things like, the thing with Rails is it's a big framework. There's a lot of things, and there are a lot of things that plug into it and expect it to be there. So you can't just say, this kind of goes to the motivation of actually why. There's a couple of other questions to come back to there. But you can't just say, oh, here's a new thing with a new name, and expect everything to work. You have to, if you take something like Devise as an example, Devise is a big authentication framework, lots and lots of very mature code that does lots of really important stuff that I use Devise because I don't want to roll my own, because what's the number one rule of web development, right? Don't roll your own security.
Yeah.
So how do we build a fork that, obviously you can fork a repository, you can change the names, fine.
Yeah, sure.
That's fine. But if it breaks every time you try and use something else with it, what's the point? It has to be able to work with all the existing Rails stuff out there. And so working out how to fool the application into still pretending to be Rails.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of all the naming and things like that. So Devise will have a dependency in it on, I don't know if it depends on Rails as a whole or whether it's just on rail ties and some of the components, but it depends on things that are part of that system. So you have to be able to tell the package manager, no, it's okay, Rails is here, even though we haven't got the Rails gem installed. You have to be able to convince things that it can solve those dependencies. And then you have to be able to do that on the Ruby side as well, on the actual code. When things say, many, all the things that sort of plug into it will have a rail tie, which is like the sort of initializer for a gem that works with Rails. And that will have, things in the Rails namespace in it and stuff like that. So you have to have sort of aliases for those namespaces and so on, so that those can continue to work. And a couple of experiments we had somebody else worked out the gem aliasing approach. Worked that out a few months ago, actually, when we did the open letter, as a kind of, hey, look, this is possible. So we sort of stuck that together with some stuff around, aliasing the namespaces and things like that, and tried it out, and it worked. And we've taken a few different approaches to sort of solving this technically. We've done it. There's a kind of a big top-down kind of like, what if we rename everything? Does it still work? And there's a sort of we'll just change a little bit, and we'll see if that can be made to work in another application. Yeah. And at one point, I'm not the only one who's done this. There are a number of people who've been working on development, but the point at which I got my application that I'm building, which uses Sidekick, it uses Devise, it uses got loads of other stuff, including Rails plugin gems that I've written. And I got it working with the fork, with the rename.
Wow.
The word Rails no longer appeared in my application, apart from in some Rubocop comments.
Yeah.
And all the tests were green. I was like,
wow. This is incredible.
Okay, this works, right?
Yeah.
So then it's like, then we get to like all the details of like, okay, well, how do we do this? How do we split it up? What approach do we take? What's the architectural decisions and things like that?
Yeah.
But proving that initial like, no, this does work.
Yeah.
This really does work.
That's pretty incredible.
It was great, and it's honestly, it's a testament to the language.
Yeah, sure.
To the ecosystem, right? That I didn't do anything massively clever at all.
No.
Other people, Jared, who worked out the gem alias stuff, that's genius. I just grabbed that off his gist that he posted, and yeah, just the language being able to. Having this very dynamic, very, very hackable language, we were all monkey patching things back in the day. It's like, let's just do that again,
Yeah, I mean, Ruby is perfect for this.
Yeah, we can rewire the application on the fly, right? So,
yeah,
and that bit was surprisingly fast. And as always with any project, the first 80% of the thing takes none of the time, and then you've got to do all the slow bits.
Yeah, exactly. Now we just have to do the little stuff. And that's like a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. But proving that it can work, that was like the point at which then I was posting out. Actually, we've made this work. This can work.
Yeah.
This is now happening. We have this thing, and
it's huge.
And starting to get people in because they see an active effort to do it, and that's what people want.
Yeah.
So it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Time for a quick but huge thank you to everyone sponsoring us on Ko-fi. You can become one of these incredible individuals by surfing to ko-fi.com/kodsnack and signing up to give us either a one-time donation or a monthly support. If you support us monthly on the coffee drinker level for €5, you get a bunch of very nice stickers in your actual mailbox. If you support us on the barista level for €10 or more, you also get a thank you right here. Big thanks to Filip Salo, William Utbult, Andreas Grönlund, Tom Wennerström, Hästben, Hans Martin Duringhof, Brother, Anders Legell, Josef Landberg, Kalle, Thomas Skäre, Joel Rangsmo, Svante Richter, Michelle, Ingo, and Tobbe Lundberg. Everyone who supports us helps make this podcast possible, and the more of you there are, the better we can make it. We do sometimes have sponsors, but it's actually your support that's enabling us to cover our monthly costs every month. And if you want to support us in other ways, you can of course give the podcast a review in your podcast player, or just tell someone who might like the podcast about an episode. But remember, you are a fantastic person, whether you support us or not. Yeah, and it's been what, 2 weeks? Or
something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's such early. Like I say, we don't even have a proper name yet. We have Amiko because literally I needed to create a repository at one point, and I really need something on Codeberg. So
yeah. Where did the name come from?
That was it's Esperanto for the word friend, and it has
it's nice.
Yeah, and it has a sort of a Japanese feel as well, which is quite nice.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was Japanese.
That came, well, exactly. It feels like it, right? It came from discussions in the Matrix group early on. It is a placeholder, mainly because we've got to do things like make sure that there's no, if we're going to do this is a major project, so, we've got to be careful with things like making sure it's not trademarked and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, there's an AI slop chatbot avatar called Amiko.
Oh,
so, I mean, it looks absolute dross, but, they're loud and noisy on Twitter. So, so whatever, that one won't work. Yeah. So we're looking at derivatives of that and different ideas and things like that. And we're at the point, I mean, this morning I was posting going, look, okay, I think we've got to have something by the end of the week. Otherwise, I can't even buy a domain yet to get the website up to, people are looking at the bits that we have, and we just have bits all over the place. There's a README in our governance repository. There's bits of files everywhere, but there's no coherent on-ramp yet because it's been like 2 weeks. I mean, I was at a festival, electromagnetic field festival here in the UK, which is like a hacker camp, a bit like the European one. I think on the morning that I saw that David had posted his thing about homeless people and wolves, and so got angry at that, and I was just stomping around being angry in a field for a couple of days.
Got to do something with this.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. You know. Like, whoa, somebody should do something, and then you realise that, you're somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Wait a minute, I'm somebody.
Exactly, and that's been the root of all of my problems over the years. I stood for election a couple of times, which was very much the same kind of somebody should do something, and you're like,
damn it, I did it again, didn't I?
God damn.
But now I suddenly understand why there's a repo for a website but no actual website. It makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's it. Well, I think there's a really big PR open on it with like building bridge and stuff. So there is an early sort of framework of things, but this is all volunteer stuff. Nobody's doing this full time. Everybody's doing this very part time.
Of course,
I am really racing against the clock a little bit on how quickly I need it to be sort of have enough people to sort of be sustaining that community, because I can't. I've got to get back to stuff. Yeah. Right. I'd much rather not be doing this. Right. And one of the things I've said in the community is I am not at BDFL. I do not want to be the head of this project. I'll just be a guy in the development chat.
Yeah.
Right. That's fine. That's my place.
Yeah.
I'm purely I don't know, useful idiot or something. I don't know. But getting the community to a point where it runs itself and people with more experience than me on various things can take bits of it on.
Yeah.
Is the dream.
Yeah. So apart from a solid name, what else is most needed right now?
So the thing is, it's interesting putting together. So I've been building this project Manyfold for a few years, and actually that comes into why I need this to happen, which we should come back to. But that's built very organically. At the moment, I'm building it. I'm sort of the central point of that community. People help each other out in support channels, things like that. But it's built very organically. This is very different. This is trying to bootstrap something that is big and serious quickly. And I fully admit I don't know what I'm doing. But that means we immediately have to think about what's proper governance process set up from the beginning. How do we think about our communications? How do we think about our writing and our design and all these things? Because anyone coming from Rails is going to have expectations, and we've got to do our best to deliver those. We have to think about what is a proper security process.
Yeah.
Because, this thing will have how do we deal with the CVs that come in? There was one in Rails last week. We have to be able to react to that. So we need a proper security process, not just me relying on GitHub vulnerability reports and their thing. It has to be done properly. So, high quality design, not just me with Bootstrap like I've done everything else. So it's sort of, even working out what those sections are has been interesting.
Yeah.
But that means there is a huge amount of places that people can get involved, whatever your expertise is in the open source world.
Yeah.
We need it. We need designers, writers, operations people. We need security specialists. We need, governance experts. We need organizers. We need project managers. And we need all of those things so that all of us can do a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually make something that works. So there is, it is very trite to say, oh, yes, it's an open source project. Whatever it is you could do, we need it. It's absolutely true in this case. It's like, I've said that on my own project, and it's like, if somebody turned up with this thing, I'd have no idea what to do with them. But in this case, it's all, everything. And even just telling people about it and writing about it and talking about why it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think is all important.
Yeah.
So, yes, if anybody fancies getting involved, please do.
Yeah.
There will be links in the show notes.
Exactly.
That's not even my line.
No, exactly. Can never repeat it too much. And the Matrix server is the main place at the moment. Yeah,
Matrix is the main place. Somebody immediately came back to me and said, I think this is a good idea, but don't do it on Matrix. Do it on Discord. And I'm like, well...
Classic.
Yeah. and I get it.
Sure.
I totally do. I'm on Discord for many things.
Yeah.
It doesn't tend to be the healthiest place. But also, if you're trying to build something that's pushing back against the creeping Silicon Valley
techno-ism,
yes, all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take a little step out of our comfort zones and be okay with using things that are open and controlled by the people who run them and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, that's easier for me to say because I've been using Matrix now for years. Still hard to love. So I will absolutely agree with people who say, oh, God, it is awkward and it's got lots of sharp edges. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, there's a good point to it.
Yeah. I've made many weird technical decisions because of philosophical stances, and to be honest, that's what this project's about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just another one for the pile.
Yeah, but it makes so much sense in the context because the whole point is doing something in more of a right way.
Yeah,
and then of course a bunch of other stuff comes with it. Because if you don't do that, it's like, oh, we're on Slack. So, sure.
ignoring all of that. I fucking hate Discord for programming community. It's just, it keeps trying to sell me level ups and gamer tags. I'm like, no, just get all this.
No.
A huge problem is the centralization of all these communities into one system, and Discord's just the latest in that. So I'm an old school internet person. I like open standards and using them.
I don't. I sometimes think that it's not so much me getting old as just all the big companies doing this, like the same things enough times that it becomes so obvious. Like me being on Mastodon. Why didn't I move to Blue Sky? Yeah, because Blue Sky is going to do the same thing that Twitter did in some form. Or even, it's just a matter of time.
How many times do you see the same pattern repeat itself and go, oh, no, but it'll be different this time?
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, I think, this is building on, I have no idea what it's doing on Blue Sky. I do get notifications from people who mention it on Blue Sky, and then I click through and everything needs me to log in, so I can't read it.
Yeah.
So, never mind. Fine. This is mostly coming from building on the Fediverse, building on Matrix, things like that, because I think those places are fundamentally more philosophically aligned to what we're trying to do, and that's fine.
Yeah, and they're not going to get ruined by a company.
No, I mean,
intentionally or not.
I'm heavily invested in Fediverse. That's the right way
Yeah,
forward. I run a server. I admin one of the servers. We've
yeah.
got a couple, maybe 3,000 users now.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
pretty big.
it's decent, and it's a lovely place to be.
Mm.
It's a great thing. But also the thing I'm building full time is also federated, and
Mm.
turns out I'm fairly consistent in the things that I do and believe. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
it's quite
Nobody should
predictable.
be surprised.
No, well, quite. Yeah. But the thing I was going to mention earlier,
Oh yeah.
which brings me back to Manifold and things, is, well, if Rails is so captured and this sort of has this toxic leadership, why bother?
Yeah.
Just there's other things go, and this is the other. You get A, just fork it, or B, why don't you go rewrite it in whatever?
In Rust.
Right, Rust,
Yeah.
or many other things, or even staying in Ruby. There's plenty of options,
No.
and yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I'd love to. I'd really like to do the whole thing in Hanami, and things like that. And if I meet myself 5 years ago, I will say to that person, "Don't do it in Rails, do it in Hanami. Look, this is this cool thing over here."
Ah.
So when that happens, I'll let him know, right?
Ah.
But
Exactly.
I am in a position,
Yeah,
and many
yeah,
other
no.
people are in a position with mature Rails apps that have been, I mean, well, Manifold started on probably Rails 7, maybe no, not until 6. No, it would have been 7. But I know there are applications running that have been going since like 3, 4. They are well established, and you can't just pick up and rewrite those things. I am even more in a position to not be able to pick up and rewrite those things because what I'm building is fully open source. I am making no direct money from it. I have funding from this European project, but that funding is for R&D, which means it's development and it's new feature based. I have no funding for maintenance.
Ah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that's another interesting.
That's a little twist.
Yeah, I've really got to solve that sometime soon.
Yeah.
But it's the way that project is structured. It's the European Research and Development Framework, right? So that's what they fund,
Yeah.
which has worked up till now. But importantly, absolutely in no way could cover. Oh, I'm going to spend X months rewriting this in a different framework.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for that?
No, of course.
And then I'll have any number of regressions and
Yeah, of course.
and I would have to pick a new authentication framework and make sure it was compatible with the existing one. I would have to have smooth upgrade paths from this database setup through to to whatever other ORM,
Yeah.
and that's all doable,
Of course.
totally doable, given time and money. And I don't have either of those.
No.
And most projects that are on Rails also won't, because anybody who's ever worked in a company who's tried to get the company to concentrate on any kind of tech debt,
Yeah.
no, that ain't gonna fly.
No, exactly.
way.
I mean, there was a point in picking that framework in the first place as well, not have to do it.
Well, that too, yeah. So, and there's many other arguments. There are many people who dislike Rails. There always have been. Use this, it's easier, and things. Yeah, fine, great.
Yeah.
And one important thing that we've done, and that we will do throughout the whole project, is we will say, if you are starting a new thing, probably this isn't for you. Probably you should go over and look at that at Hanami, because they're doing very cool things outside of this framework.
So are they sort of starting from scratch, or?
It's another framework that is it doesn't have anything in common with certainly no code in common with Rails.
Right.
It has sort of different structures. It's built from a number of different parts. It uses like dry and ROM and other stuff for all of the different parts. There's a lot there, and there's a lot of really good stuff there. And that was a really vague answer because I haven't got time to find out.
Makes sense now that you say it. There will be links in the show
and
notes.
I wish I did.
Yeah, of course.
But, and we will say, that's probably the place to go if you're starting afresh. We are doing experiments based on, there's a really good bit of work that's been done on can you fork and change the whole thing and then run Amiko new and generate a new application. And we've got that working as well.
Mm.
People do say they want to do that. Some people do still want to work in the Rails world because that means a lot of support of extra bits to tack onto it. There's a lot of really good documentation, and that's fine. That's not going to be, I think, a primary focus for us. It's a really good benchmark and baseline to be able to say, yes, this is possible and it works.
Yeah, of course.
That's that's great.
Mm. Mm.
But it's not a primary focus. The primary focus is for somebody with an existing Rails app who doesn't want to feel spiritually bereft afterwards to be able to go, right, okay, I can swap to this with minimal effort and then rely on this community for maintenance and support and security updates and almost like an LTS, right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
That kind of thing. I explicitly wrote in one of the facts, which is on the governance repository and not linked to from anywhere, so nobody sees it. Which is why we need a name and why we need a website.
Yeah, exactly.
That you probably shouldn't expect a version 9. Everybody knows Rails 9 is going to come along at some point. Probably won't see that from Amiko or whatever the project is called. We just did a poll on where we should fork from. Currently, the thinking is we will do it based on the 8.2 release that's probably going to happen in September. Just because we're only just starting now. Getting people to downgrade will be an even harder sell.
Yeah.
So by the time this has got any sort of real momentum, there will probably be people upgrading to 8.2. We should probably go there. Yeah. I've frozen at 8.0 since late last year. I'd be okay with that, but that makes a lot of sense that 8.2 will be the thing for a good while, and that will give this time to travel, and people won't have to downgrade. Because
of course.
all you have to do is generate a migration, and it puts the version in, and then you try and run that on an older version, it just goes go. So, that's probably what will happen, is that the actual real in earnest fork will happen at 8.2.
Yeah.
Assuming that happens, that's our guess. If it doesn't happen by, I think, mid-September or whenever Rails World is, we will we'll fork at 8.1.
Yeah.
But we're waiting a few weeks just to ease that migration path.
Yeah. And so if Rails does anything major later on, the thinking right now is to not try and pull that in.
Yeah, probably, because we're about people being able to take a step and say, okay, I stepped out of the Rails ecosystem. I'm fine, or not out of the ecosystem, but out of that development thing. And one of our contributors wrote a really good post the other day that around what we've decided to actually start with. You can when you run Rails new, you can give it a minus minimal argument, which will just give you the minimum stuff to make a simple Rails app. It will do the controllers, it will have the code for the views, it will have the ORM. It won't have things like action text, which is a text editor, a WYSIWYG text editor that's built in now. It won't have solid queue, which is a background queuing system. It will leave a bunch of that stuff out. So we're starting with the minimal set because, for one thing, the minimal set is stable. It has been stable for a long time, since like Rails 6. Really, that core is finished.
Yeah.
Not finished in the sense that there's no work to do on it ever again. There's always maintenance, there's always security, there's new versions of Ruby, etc.
Yeah.
But that is stable and feature complete. A lot of the newer stuff is, much less used, I imagine. I don't know the entire Rails community. I'm just a guy. But I know that I've not used any of the, action text, action mailbox some of these other things that are in there. But the nice thing is, because of the whole aliasing thing, you can still use those.
Oh,
They
yeah.
still work. Because
Yeah, you're
actually,
not stuck
when I said
anymore.
we did the aliasing,
Yeah.
the minimal aliasing thing that I managed to get working was just rail ties. It was
Ah.
still using all of the other underlying gems, Action Pack,
Wow.
Active Record, all of that stuff was unforked. So we've proved that you can have this kind of hybrid system. So yeah, you still want to use action text and
Yeah.
active storage and things like that. Fine, you go for it. Great.
It's
Those will
pretty
still
cool.
work,
Yeah.
and we'll be looking after the core.
Yeah.
And there are still many questions in that. It's like, where does that go in future? Does this evolve in some ways? Do we try and come up with something to fix the disaster of the asset pipeline system that I don't really know what happened, but it felt like Rails 7 just went, sod it, do we like?
Table flip.
It took all of its convention over configuration thing and just went, what?
That's a move.
Solve it. Oh, God.
Oh.
I might be just recovering. I've really now got it to a point where I'm happy with it years and years later. And I think that's something a lot of people, there's been quite a lot of discussion about that. And it's like, maybe sometime, but it's going to be down the road, right? So, yeah, I think, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that are newer technologies, newer approaches, and there may be room to look at those or to make them work well with it in a way that works well. I mean, another area is things like the internationalization. Right? Rails has its own method for internationalization. There are plenty of standard methods out there that are really nicely supported by lots of things. Maybe that's something to look at. But that's down the line. That's a long time down the line.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
For now, we are really minimal scope, keeping it really tight, and we'll see where we go. I won't pretend to know what the future holds. No. For a start, because I won't be the one deciding it. So
exactly. Join the Matrix server.
I'll be a little voice in, going, maybe.
Exactly. That's the exact sound.
Yeah. That's what I want my role on the project to become.
It doesn't actually even need any words.
just easily ignored in the corner. Right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. This whole thing has started because I want it to exist, not because I want to do it. If you know what I mean. So,
yeah, exactly.
There's plenty of interesting stuff to do, but
yeah, sure.
There always is, right? Look at my office. Jesus.
Yeah.
Full of too many interesting things to do that I can't find.
Yeah. I almost started a side conversation about some stuff in the background.
Oh, it wouldn't be the first podcast to do so. You can't even see the printer going in the corner.
Oh, exactly. I don't know if it's good or bad that people don't see won't be able to see the image, but they'll have to use their imagination.
Of course, yes. I forgot. No camera. Oh, well. You'll have to, find other podcasts with me on if you want to see the absolute dreck that is my office.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you're trying to focus on otherwise is Manyfold, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and building Manyfold on top of this.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things now, actually. So I just had another grant fund come through from NGO Zero again for a slightly different thing. So Manyfold is a self-hosted tool for 3D printing enthusiasts, I suppose. So it's for organizing a big trove of 3D print models. I found myself with a massive folder of stuff and I didn't know what anything was. I couldn't find anything, so I made a web app because, as previously discussed, I am bad at self-control.
And good at web apps.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I know this.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's grown now to be a self-hosted management tool, but also publishing platform. So if you are into 3D printing, you'll know things like Thingiverse and many of the other hosting sites. Manyfold lets you run your own one of those alongside so you can publish public stuff alongside your private organizational stuff. And it also federates. So it's part of the Fediverse federates with ActivityPub between different instances. So you can have an account on your own personal instance, like I have one running in the corner of the office there, and you can follow creators or models or things like that on other servers, and automatically it will communicate between them, just like things like Mastodon and other Fediverse services. And in fact, you can follow those things from Mastodon. So if you follow a Manifold creator, you will see a message in your Mastodon feed whenever new models are created, things like that. The way that ActivityPub stuff works is there is a Rails engine built into Manifold, which was, until a couple of weeks ago, and on a very coincidental day, was named FedRails. And now it's called FediPub. But that does all of that. This is why I say, like, I need to carry on working the Rails ecosystem. For a start, I've got a whole load of work to do in it now.
Yeah.
So that does all of that ActivityPub Federation, and I've now got a bunch of work to do to sort of round that out, to improve the documentation and things like that. So that's another aspect of what I'm doing. But again, it's all very Rails based. It's in that world of things. One of the things I do want to do as part of that work, though, is make it usable elsewhere. Is use it as a way to explore how do we make. And when I've got a Rails engine that has controllers and it has all of this stuff that operates in the Rails paradigm, how do I make that, as much of that as possible, usable without Rails? How do I make it work at the rack level or something else, so that it can go into Hanami or things like that? So that's going to be really that's going to be a part of this as well. Or if there's bits of it that can't, how do we make sure that there is a Ruby core that then actually you can have adapters into the different frameworks or something like that? So that will all feed into this as well, which would be really nice. So I've got a few things on the go that are somewhat related, but but the Rails thing is not the Rails thing, and maintenance on things is not paying the bills.
No.
Time is limited, so building that community is really important.
Yeah. So how does that work with the grants and stuff like that? You apply for a grant to do some specific things, or? Yeah.
So I mean, I would recommend this to anybody who's working in open source, is look at NLnet. .nl, who are the organization that are the primary organizers of this NGI0 project. The way it works is they get a whole load of money from the European Union. Horizon research framework stuff is big and complicated and involves lots and lots of reports and plans and risk assessments and things like that. And they do all of that, and then they have a very simple web form that developers can understand, that we can fill in and go, I want to do this thing. And then you go through a bit of a process. It's a very iterative sort of feedback thing. You fill in the form. A few months later, they'll get in touch and say, oh, okay, yes, we've put you through to the second round. Here's a few questions. And then you go through that. And it's very, very developer friendly.
Oh, cool.
And its grants. First grant can be up to €50,000. But it's focused on R&D type stuff.
Yeah.
I think they've just had to tweak it a bit, so it is now also focused on what they're calling sort of open internet stack stuff. There's a big push in the EU, sort of around digital sovereignty, digital internet sovereignty, things like that. So it's focused more on that now. So some of the things that it used to be able to fund are going to be a little bit more difficult to get in. But if you're building stuff that is open source, that is to do with the internet and the web and things like that, it's well worth a look. They're wonderful people. And it comes with a whole bunch of services as well. So the other partners in the consortium are people like Radically Open Security, who are a pen testing security firm. which means that they will do a security audit on what you built, which I can't afford.
Exactly.
But it comes as part of the program, right? And then
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. And accessibility audits and lots of other sort of help around writing, around translation, all these things that are important for open source projects, but that are really hard for somebody with a technical idea to go, oh, how do I even do that? Exactly. They'll help with that. So it's not just the sort of the development money coming to you. It comes with a bunch of other benefits as well. So I'd highly recommend that to anybody.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. You don't have to be in the EU, as I proved being sat here in the UK. Sadly. Not sadly in the UK, sadly not in the EU.
No.
You know what I mean?
Sadly, lots of backstory.
That's a whole other podcast.
But yeah.
No, not completely tangential to the whole thing, right? All of this connects.
True.
All of this connects.
Yeah, I just want to ask a little bit more about the grant because a friend of mine has been curious about this. So do you get the grant to build a given list of things, or?
Yeah, so when you get to so you'll put in a description of what do you want to do with this. You'll flesh it out a little bit in that second round, and then when you get to the sort of the final thing, and this is what I'm about to do on this Certipub one, is you come up with a sort of detailed set of milestones. I say detailed for the likes of me, not for the likes of project planners who deal with European projects, right? I've got a list of like a few things that I want to get done, and I've put some money value next to them.
Okay.
They're keen that you have a proper valuation of that. So actually you don't have to undersell yourself to be able to do the work, which is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll break it down into a set of, I normally have like maybe 8 top level sort of milestones and a few tasks within each of those, which break down to like the 1 or 2,000 euro type level. Right. And then when you've done those, so the whole thing is it's not structured as pay, it's structured as a donation. So essentially when you do those things, and Allnet will say, oh, hey, we really like that thing you did. Here's a donation.
Donation unlocked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, which is why it's all like, I have to be like, okay, what's the next sort of milestone I have to hit in order to then make sure I get paid.
Yeah.
So that I can pay my rent.
Yeah.
And have rent. Mortgage. That's what I have.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I suddenly thought I was a student again, 25 years.
Yeah. Flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that sort of indirectly makes it useful to break it down quite a bit, because then you can hit milestones more frequently.
That's the thing. It's actually, it's a great bit of project management anyway for a project. And it's nice and it is done in a very lightweight way. They keep building like custom web forms to do this stuff in. It's really cool. There's I think you write the project plan out in Markdown.
Oh,
and there's a bit of like custom syntax that you use, and then it actually builds up the sort of the budget and all the additions at the side as you're doing it. And I'm just sitting there going, "This is so cool."
Yeah. I hope it has a name, and I hope it's called Grant Down.
Yeah, you know what? That'd be good. I mean, it'll be open source somewhere. I've never looked.
Oh yeah, of course. I can go out and find it myself.
Yeah. Everything they do has to be open source. So.
That's awesome.
Interestingly, it has to be on one of the OSI approved licenses, which is, I think, an interesting thing that again comes into this area of like maybe the pure Silicon Valley libertarian view of open source is maybe something we should think about a little these days.
Yeah, that's a really
but that's
interesting.
Definitely another thing. That's definitely another
thing. Big and related.
And I don't think nobody's going there yet. So I think a lot of people feel it. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've seen ideas sort of slide by on Mastodon a few times, but
it's that kind of place.
It's a good.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, maybe I don't want curl to be used in an Israeli drone.
No, just maybe.
Just putting that out there. No, I'm not saying that's absolutely not. I don't think anybody's said that, or Daniel Stenberg has
No.
said that. That's an example.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess we're about out of time.
Sorry, I've rambled for...
No, it's been great. It's been great. Is there anything you want to throw in at the end? Anything we missed? I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, look in the show notes.
Exactly.
That's the thing with this project at the moment. It's like I don't have a website to send you to. I don't have anything. We have an emergent community, and it's going to be hard and it's going to be difficult, and it may well not work. At least we'll have tried.
Yeah,
and that's the best I can. If I can look back and go, I mean, like with everything I've done. Working in carbon calculation and climate change stuff 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
At least I tried.
Yeah, exactly.
Was the thing. We were...
Yeah, this is worth trying.
We weren't ahead of our time. The rest of the world is way behind its time. But...
Oh, yeah. Good point.
We tried. I can look back on that, and I can look back on this and say, that was the right thing to do. It didn't work. Whatever.
Yeah.
But maybe it
could work.
Sometimes things do.
Exactly.
You never know. The only thing that will make it work is people. So if people want to get involved and help us build a slightly less tech bro future, then you know where to find
Join
us.
Matrix. Exactly.
Yeah, in the show notes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, James. This was great.
Yeah, real pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Big thanks for listening to Kodsnack. If you want to support us, leave a review in your podcast player of choice, or just tell someone who might like the podcast about an episode. And don't forget you can come hang out in our Slack channel. A link is in the sidebar right on our website at kodsnack.se. Once again, big thanks for listening. Talk to you later.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.